Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is BK from CocoZini.com. So, in today's tutorial, I will be doing this beautiful simple dress from Fashion Nova. I will be tweaking it a little bit to fit something that I like. It's not going to be exactly like this, but it's going to be very close to this. So, let's get started. I've already marked out my dress using a pattern that I have. I have a tutorial on how to create this pattern in one of my previous videos, and I will link the the link to the video down below. So for those that don't know how to create a pattern or use a pattern block, I'm just going to go ahead and redo it again from scratch using the freehand measurement. So grab your fabric and mark a straight line at the tip of your fabric. This is already folded, and this straight line is going to be your shoulder line. So measure out your shoulder to shoulder, divide it by 2, and mark it on that line. Use the measurement from your shoulder to bust and mark it. Use the measurement from your shoulder to waist and mark it. The measurement from your shoulder to hips and mark it. Also the measurement from your shoulder to how long you want the dress to be and mark it. Go ahead and draw a line on all those marks. I'm going to omit the waist line because we don't need it at this moment. Then I'll go ahead and also draw a line on the bust mark. Now, starting from the shoulder line, I'm going to measure down or mark down my armhole using my armhole measurement. So I'm marking it down right there. Then I'm also going to draw a line on it. On the first line, which is the armhole line, mark your bust measurement divided by 4. Then you're going to add half an inch to it. Mark it down like so. From the mark that you made on your shoulder line, which is the measurement of your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, you will draw a line from that shoulder line to your armhole line. Then divide that measurement of your armhole by 2, then put a mark down like I just did in the middle. Then you use a curved ruler to connect from the tip of your shoulder to shoulder line divided by 2 through the middle dot, which is 3/4 of an inch from the line, and all the way down to the armhole line. After marking down our bust measurement divided by 4 plus half an inch to the armhole line, we're also going to add 1 inch seam allowance. Let's go to the neck. On the shoulder line, measure out 4 inches or 5, depending on what you want. But because I'm not adding zipper to this, I'm gonna make it 5, so I have enough room for my head. And also, I'm going to mark deep 6 inches. And this also depends on how you want your neck to be. Because of the fact that I'm not using a zipper, I'm just making it as deep as possible. With a curve ruler or your hand, trace out the curve line of the neck. Unlike the model on the Fashion Nova picture, I'm using a curved neck or round neck instead of a V neck. On the hip line, get your hip measurement divided by 4 and mark it down. Then go ahead and add 1.5 inches seam allowance. Just make sure that whatever you have extra inches after adding the seam allowance. On the line that you marked for the length of the dress, transfer the measurement you got on the hips to that line. I added extra 2.5 inches to mine for the flare, but depending on how you want your flare to be, you can add more, but just make sure it's not less than 1 inch so you can have enough room to move around. Draw a long line connecting the measurement from the length of a dress to your armhole, and if you notice, we omitted the hip line because the line went past the hip line. Let's get to the neck. When I was doing the neck, I forgot to take out the slope. I measured 1 inch down on the shoulder armhole line, and I'm connecting it to the neckline. You see, I have 5 inches when I measured my neck, but I'm going to take 2 inches away from it, which is now 3 inches. So I'm going to connect that line all the way to the 1 inch that I took out on the armhole. Then you can go ahead and start cutting. For the back, I did the same thing. I used the pattern that I have made for myself in cutting out the back measurement. But for those that don't have a pattern, you do the same thing you did in the front to the back. So you can just go along with me. Your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2 and mark it. Then measure 3 inches and mark it. And then measure 1 inch down and mark. So you're going to connect that 1 inch to the 3 inches mark that you marked on that shoulder line, like I'm doing right now. See, that is a 3 inches line. So I'm just going to connect the 3 inches to that 1 inch that I just marked. I'm going to go ahead and measure my armhole measurement and mark it down. And then use a ruler to just connect the line. Then I'm going to draw a long line down. On that long line, that will put the measurement of the bust in there. So I'm adding the measurement of my bust. Then I'm going to add ½ inch ease. Then I'm also going to add 1 inch seam allowance. And it stops right there. On the armhole, measurement divided by 2, so you get the middle part. In the front, I added 3/4 of an inch in the middle, but for the back, I don't need to add any space in the middle. So I'm just going to connect from the middle of the armhole to the bust line, just like I just did. On the back neck, I'm going to use 1 inch deep for the neck, and I'm going to use 5-inch wide, just like I did in the front. So I'm just using the curve ruler to connect those lines, or you can just use your hand to connect them too. So here is what I have. I measured my shoulder to hips and I put a dot in there. So I'm going to draw a line on that hip dot. Then I'm going to use the measurement of my hips divided by 4. I'm going to add 1/2 inch ease and 1 inch seam allowance. Right there. On the line of the length of the dress, I'm going to draw a long line also at the end where you want the dress, how long you want the dress to be. Then I'm going to transfer the same measurement I have for my hips. I'm going to transfer it down there, which is my hip divided by 4 plus 1/2 inch ease and 1 inch seam allowance. But I'm also going to add 2.5 inches to it for my flare. So just make sure you connect the line from how long you want the dress to be up to the armhole line, just like I'm doing right now. I did the same thing for the front, but I didn't really explain that much when I was doing the front part. And doing this, you can see that we kind of omitted the hip line because it went a little bit further than the hips, which is very okay. Moving to the sleeves, I'm using a sleeve pattern that I made for myself. I don't have a video for this yet, but if you want me to make one, you can leave a comment down below. Measure out how long you want your sleeve to be. I did mine as a 3/4 of my hand, and I'm just going to mark out the middle of the sleeve, which is a very important thing that we need for this particular style. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a line in the middle. I really don't need the slope of the sleeve because this style has garters in it in the sleeve. So I will just use the measurement of the armhole part of the sleeve all the way down so that I can make a little space, or yeah, that I can make a little space for the sleeve garters. I added 1/2 inch seam allowance to the sleeve when I was cutting it, and if you see the corner that I am right now, I also added 1/2 inch, but I just cut it all the way down to how long I want the sleeve to be. If you notice, I really didn't make a huge slope on it. I just kind of bent it maybe a little, like 1/4 of an inch, and cutting how long I want the sleeve to be. So here is a sleeve. I've already cut it down, and I cut 2. So the next thing we are going to do is, remember I marked a line in the middle of the sleeve. We're going to cut out the lines. So before I went ahead, I kind of mark out the front side of the sleeve and the back side of the sleeve. So the front side of the sleeve, I put a 1 notch. On the back side of the sleeve, I put 2 notches. So I've marked out the middle of the sleeve, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it into 2. For this design, we'll need a little cuff for the sleeves. So because the cuff doesn't have an opening, we have to make sure you use a measurement that your fist can easily go in and out, just like I'm trying to measure mine too. So I see that my fist can easily go in and out this hole. So I'm going to use that measurement for the sleeve cuff. I'm using 2 inches wide for this sleeve cuff with the measurement that I got right now. I just got done cutting, and I cut 2 for each sleeves. Here is the front and the back bodies, so I'm just going to go ahead and join the arm, the shoulder, and also the side seam. I have finished the edges of this, and here's what it looks like after I got done putting both the shoulders and the side together. I did a lining for this dress because it's a sheer dress which is very transparent. So the red thing you see is the lining, and that was what I used for cutting the main dress. So that's the side seam. I've gone ahead and I've put it together. I've also finished the edges or the sides of the sleeve. So on the sleeve, here is one thing that we're going to do. We'll take one of the sleeve, and on the top of the sleeve we're going to sew 1 inch right there, and also on the bottom of the sleeve you're going to sew another 1 inch to join that line together right there. I'll show you what it looks like after I got done doing this. Here is what it looks like. So that's the top of the sleeve, and have sewed, actually I did sewed 1.5 inches, not 1.5 inch on the top, and I pressed it open. Then I also sewed 1.5 inch at the bottom, and I also pressed it open. So what we're going to do now is, you see the line that we pressed open, we have to sew a long stitch on those 2 sides so it secures the fabric from shifting up and down. So I'm done sewing the long stitch from the top of the sleeve to the end of the sleeve, and I have sewn the 2 sleeves together, and here is what it looks like. So from here we have to join the sides of the sleeve together. So go ahead and join the side of a sleeve of the both sleeves actually. I'm done joining the side of the sleeves together. So I've turned it to the right side. So I'm going to put the right side of the sleeve, I'm going to put it inside the bodies. So I'm making sure that the middle of the sleeve, the top of the sleeve, it's aligning with the shoulder of the bodice. And also that the side of the seam is aligned to the side of the bodice. Okay, let's put it in. Go ahead and push it in. Make sure your right side of your sleeve is out, not the wrong side. And I'm aligning the side of the sleeve to the side of the bodice, like so. Then I'm going to pin it in place to hold it down. Also, I'm going to align everything, I'll peel it all around. I also make sure I align, the shoulder of the bodice to the top of the sleeve. Go ahead and pin everything all around and take it to the machine to sew. I'm going to stop here for this part one of this because I'm running out of battery on my recorder, and join me in the part two to continue how to sew this shift dress. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Stay blessed and bye for now.